Hello, Mount Zion Stagecraft. We're here in the Creative Kitchen, and we're working on the Temple Stage LED strip panels. And I'm zooming in here so you can see the sample photograph that we're looking at. This is basically what we're building. We're using a steel frame versus a wood frame, and instead of the light strips being like these angles and peaks, the light strips we're going to install will be hanging perpendicular to the ground. So I'm going to pan down here now and show you the schematic that we have. You notice four frames: SR1, SR2, SL3, SL4. That stands for stage right 1, stage right 2, stage left 3, stage left 4. And you can see there's a black heavy line which indicates it's a separate frame. Within that frame there is an internal grid that allows us to hang the light strips on. Within that grid will be another grid, interestingly enough, of real thin tie wire that will allow us to hang these lights, for example, that float, like you can see in SR2, this 2-footer here. How are we going to hang that? Well, there'll be an internal network of tie wire, which you'll see later in the video, that will explain that. So the overall project is 28 feet long by 9.5 feet in height that will fit right underneath the center stage video screen. So in terms of timing, I'll show you where we're at. Here's our 2019 stage art production schedule, and you can see we are in the month of June, and we are scheduled next Wednesday and Friday. Between those 2 days, we'll be working with that team of people to install the first 2 frames here, and then the following week we will install the next 2 frames. Ideally, that's the target. In terms of the people that will be involved in that, you can see the dedicated team will be Tony, Kike, Rosia, and we're just going to add Josh to that list. And then, of course, we've got Jose and Trevor helping with tie wire. All right, so now that you understand the project, you understand the timing, we're going to finish these 2 panels off this week so we can get them on the stage. And now I'm panning to the right. You can see there against the scenery rack, there are 2 panels, and the other 2 panels that we're working on are right here against the rack, and they have been clamped to the grid so that when working on them they don't tip over and fall on you. Of course, we have them floating on milk crates so that we can work on the bottom rail without and have enough clearance. So in terms of how to put the tie wire on, I'm going to kind of pan in here. I know it's hard to see because of the sunlight between the windows there, so I'm going to kind of go to the lower part. You can see that light skinny wire, that tie wire. What's happening is it's creating a grid. See that grid right there inside of the black frame? That's the grid that we're going to finish completing here. So you have verticals and horizontals. And what we do is we have tick marks that create our measurements, and then we just connect wire following those tick marks. So for an example, you can see that tick mark there in pencil. And then if you just go right on over, pretty level with it, you can see the next tick mark there on the panel right there. And then the next one, and then the final one is right there. You can see it right there. So it's pretty easy to follow. These 2 panels on the rack have all the tick marks already measured out. So the next step is to install. To do that, we're using re-rod tie wire. There's just a big coil of it here on the bench. And because this bench is 10 feet long, we're just going from end to end on the bench and then adding 5 inches. This bench is 10 foot 1 inches, and so we add 5 inches to that, we get 10 foot 6 inches. And so in order to do the horizontal pieces on these grids, you require a length of wire 10 feet 6 inches. That's because the panel is 9.5 feet, and then we add 3 inches for every loop, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's another foot. So 9/6 becomes 10/6. All right, so now you understand the project. Our next video is going to show you or demonstrate exactly how to tie this wire on.